Hello and welcome to what is provisionally the last episode of What I Talk About When I Talk About Art, a vlog series where I've just been talking about my thoughts. There are more of these that I can do, I'll just see if I want to in the future. Here's a mental exercise. Think of a fictional character, anyone, from any medium. Fix them in your mind. Now, tell me what they do when they're not in whatever you know them from. What do they do on their days off from their job of being spied on by you? What's something you can say this person does even though you've never been told, completely inferred by you? Here's an example. In the painting Nighthawks, I think the guy who works at the bar aches. His back aches so much that it's hard to get out of bed in the morning. Maybe it made him late for work that day. Maybe he's feeling the ache in the moment the painting captures, and maybe he's too proud to complain about it to anyone. How do we make assumptions like that? How can an idea of something that doesn't exist get given its own life inside our own head? Well, it's because we project our knowledge and our experiences of real people. We make assumptions and create expectations, giving our whole life to just an idea, merely the smallest suggestion of a person. Experiencing a character in a piece of art is a collaboration between the artist and your brain. For our ability to interact socially, it's very important that noticing people is something we can do without trying, so the imagination can do some very heavy lifting. It's easy to see why a face on a video call is more than just a collection of pixels, because there are thousands of pixels making that image. But stick figures on ancient cave paintings are just one rock crudely rubbed against another, and we're all happy to fill in the gaps, assuming these scratches from thousands of years ago have purpose and significance. Paintings of people from far away include very little actual detail, because trying to improve over what we can imagine would just look messy. Super Mario has always looked the same. That statement makes perfect sense, even though of course he hasn't. His mustache used to be 5 pixels and now it's thousands in a complex polygon of a single strand. I wonder if he still uses the same mustache comb. But there I am again, giving life to something non-existent. We respond to images as if they are people, and we can fill in the gaps with very little effort. Obviously, real people are different from fictional characters, but there is quite a bit of overlap. Real people can literally interact with the physical world, making changes to our lives. Speaking utilitarianly, real people can be thought of as theoretical, but they are also functional. But there are plenty of real people in the world that we never interact with, and their functionality is not evident. Speaking purely in the way that we perceive them, some people have much more in common with fictional characters. People you don't see anymore, people you've heard about but have never met. The crowd that surrounds you on a busy street, all with their own lives, hopes, flaws, and stories that you will never hear or even imagine unless you go home and watch a TV show where a character is going through something analogous. But existing in that overlap is nearly everyone that exists and everyone that ever could exist in any imagination. And from within that overlap, an artist can have you turn words or pictures into heroes, thieves, friends and traitors in stories, all manner of complex people, with the inherent value we would only normally apply to flesh and blood. Think about the power in that ability to create something from nothing. Your imagination makes something, you express it in your chosen art form, which will never be exactly equivocal to what you imagined, but then it's reassembled in someone else's imagination, and there it is, the creative process, your own personal genesis. The question every artist needs to ask themselves is, how can they best use their art form to create these worlds in other people's heads? Of course, the only way to do that is to get to know real people themselves. That's where the endless journey is to be found. No character can be so deep and complex as any real person if you take the time to know them. And the more people you know, the closer you'll be able to feel to the unreal worlds that your mind can conjure.